Davy, how old are you?
5.
All right, Davy is 5. And how many verses did you memorize?
29.
Yeah, awesome. He made it to his 25. Silver level, 29 verses. So Davy Johnson, 5 years old. Now, I want to put a disclaimer in front of this. I'm not here to try to make anybody feel guilty here. But if you are feeling guilty, maybe it's the inspiration of the Holy Spirit to keep pushing us along. I'm just saying. I just call it what it is. So, Davy, you have a verse that you memorized. Well, you had 29 of them. And you've chosen one that you want to say today. What verse is that?
Acts 1:8.
Okay, go for it.
And ye shall receive power after that the Holy Ghost has come upon you, and ye shall be witnesses unto me, both in Jerusalem and in all Judea and in Samaria and unto the uttermost part of the earth.
Awesome, way to go. Now, what I didn't realize is that you did it in King James, man. That's awesome. We put it in print in NIV, and he's pulling the these and thous out. Nice job, buddy. Way to go. Way to go. Excellent. Okay, and this is Rachel Lee. And Rachel, how old are you?
8.
8. Awesome. And how many verses did you memorize?
Oh, 50.
You memorized all 50 verses. Mm-hmm. And what verse would you like to recite today?
Romans 12:1-2.
Okay, go for it.
Therefore, I urge you, brothers and sisters, in the view of God's mercy, to offer your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God. This is your true and proper worship. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed in the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, His good, pleasing, and perfect will.
Awesome, way to go. Way to go. And I'll just add that if you have that pamphlet and you look to Romans 12:1-2, it's like the longest 2 verses. There's a couple where I put 2 verses together on because I just couldn't decide that, anyway, I made it difficult, I know. And she just picked one of the most difficult things to memorize, the longest thing in there. Give both of these kids a hand.
Yay.
You guys can go ahead and be seated, okay? Excellent. Excellent. And how many verses did you memorize this summer?
29.
29 verses, good. So you made it to the silver level, and I've asked both kids to share their favorite verse that whatever one they wanted to share. And so, what verse would you like to share?
Acts 1:8.
Acts 1:8. Okay, go ahead.
And ye shall receive power after that the Holy Ghost has come upon you, and ye shall be witnesses unto me, both in Jerusalem and in all Judea and in Samaria and unto the uttermost part of the earth.
Excellent. Now we put the brochure together in NIV, and Davy has chosen to memorize this verse in King James. So every King James person out there, you just got the verse in King James for you with the these and thous. Way to go, buddy. Knuckles. Nice job. Nice job. And this is Rachel Lee. And Rachel, how old are you?
8.
Rachel's 8. And Rachel, you memorized how many verses?
Oh, 50.
You memorized all 50 verses. And Rachel, as you memorized all 50 verses, what verse would you like to share with us today?
Romans 12:1-2.
Go ahead.
Therefore, I urge you, brothers and sisters, in the view of God's mercy, to offer your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God. This is your true and proper worship. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed in the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, His good, pleasing, and perfect will.
Excellent. And if you have have the Mission M&M brochure, you know that she just memorized like the longest one of all 50 of these, because it's actually 2 verses, and both verses are pretty long. And so to Rachel, way to go. To Davy, way to go. Give these kids a hand. It's one of these moments I almost want to move the podium out of the way. But Davy, how old are you, buddy?
5.
Excellent. And how many verses did you memorize this summer?
29.
29. So you got to the silver level, and I asked that you would share one of your favorite verses. What verse is that you want to share?
Acts 1:8.
Acts 1:8. Great verse. Go ahead. Share with us.
And ye shall receive power after that the Holy Ghost has come upon you, and ye shall be witnesses both in Jerusalem and in all Judea and in Samaria and unto the uttermost part of the earth.
Very good. Now we put these verses out in NIV, and you know he didn't quote NIV right there, right? All of you King James people, you're here internally, you're here like, yes. Way to go, buddy. Nice job. Well done. Well done. Excellent. And this is Rachel Lee. And Rachel, how old are you?
8.
Rachel's 8. And Rachel, you memorized how many verses?
Oh, 50.
And you have a favorite verse you want to share today?
Romans 12:1-2.
Go for it.
Therefore, I urge you, brothers and sisters, in the view of God's mercy, to offer your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God. This is your true and proper worship. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed in the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, His good, pleasing, and perfect will.
Nice job. And if you look across those 50 verses, she just chose one of the toughest ones to memorize and share. It's like the longest thing in there. And so Romans 12:1-2, Acts 1:8, that is great stuff. I want to just give you a little gift from me to you guys. And thank you.